everybody. Welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast number 90. This is your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
We're on podcast number 90. I can't believe it. That just actually, I asked you like 5 seconds ago, what podcast are we on? And it's 90. So, for any of you out there that have been listening to us for a while, thanks. For some reason, we just keep going, right, Mike?
Yeah, they're going.
For some reason or another, soon enough we'll be to 100, and we'll be like, wow, we're at 100. We still never had a podcast number 69, you know.
No, we did not do that. Yeah, probably should do that.
Someday. Anyway, yeah, man. So I guess it's been a couple weeks here because we had the all-important Vikings-Packers game last Sunday. And we're big Vikings fans for all of you out there that don't know. So we had a good night. Let's put it that way. So here we are once again. So Mike, what in the world has been going on the last 2 weeks? I feel like I've talked to you for 5 seconds.
I don't know. I'm just a lot of work, gaming, doing some gaming here and there. I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. Has an important rollout coming up at work here at the end of the week, and then I've been mixing gaming in, and I have school starting back up, so kind of getting prepped for that. So that's going to be a fun year and a half with school and a newborn in the house for the next year and a half. So
woo,
we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, and then just some Destiny and Madden, and did some Pinball Arcade and some Forza Horizon 3. Some miscellaneous stuff here and there. So yeah, it's kind of just the normal, just getting some gaming in to relax a little bit.
I heard you got a Ghostbusters re-release.
Yeah, I did. I got that. It had some poop wiped on it.
For Sega Master System. Yeah, was that poop? What was that?
It smells like chocolate.
Somebody wiped some chocolate poop.
I could probably actually get it off. I'm not actually going to try to get it off. And actually, speaking of eBay, so here's the thing. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this at one point. So eBay, if you do the copied listing, I was kind of complaining to you about this, where like it doesn't let you do like new. So you have to pick used.
Oh, like new condition.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I figured out is if you go to list something on eBay and you pick let's say the Double Dragon I've listed, and you select, hey, I want to list one like this. There's a predefined template there that forces you to select used, essentially, if you want to be in line with their description, right? Because a 30-year-old game is not going to be technically like new.
Right.
So if you don't use their predefined description and just list the item, then it doesn't give you the BS settings where you can actually select great condition and then describe it without having to abide by their BS predetermined template.
Yeah, there's been some wonkiness on eBay listings for me lately too. I don't know what they're doing, but there was one where I remember I was selling I upgraded one of my, because at our collection right now, I mean, with my Master System collection, I was just buying stuff that's in better condition than some of the games and just selling the old ones. So I had bought one that was in nicer condition, and I was like, sell one like this is one of the options that I chose. So I chose it off of the one that I had bought. And I listed it, and I hadn't really done it that way before. And then it gets yanked from eBay like an hour later. So I call them, and I'm like, I get the same person every time. I don't know if you've ever actually called into eBay or anything like that. But
I have called into eBay when I had that Oculus Rift kerfuffle when I was.
Oh, yeah. I get the exact same girl every single time. So that's kind of strange. But anyway, so I was like, why did this get pulled? And she's like, because you can't sell the game. They thought that I was trying to sell let's say it was Double Dragon. I don't know what it was. I'm trying to sell Double Dragon. Well, I don't have the rights to Double Dragon, so I can't sell it, is what she's telling me. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, you have thousands of listings. I was like, I would be willing to say you have hundreds of millions of video game listings on cartridges. I was like, this is a physical cartridge. I'm not selling the code.
Well, and you can sell the codes too. I don't know what the hell she thought was going on. I've sold codes on eBay before.
No, I mean, she thought I was selling the game code, the code
the actual
from Sega or some shit.
Yeah, the actual binary source code.
I was like, look at my listing. I'm selling a cartridge in a box. You don't have the right to sell it. Are you kidding? I listed this as I bought something and I used the like sell similar item thing on this. I was like, I know I can, you know? So anyways, it was futile. Like she didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I mean, I knew what she was talking about, but we weren't on the same page. Let's put it that way. I just got frustrated.
That's funny.
Yep, I was done. I'm like, I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, and I was kind of looking at it going like, I'm just not getting like the prices that I'm looking for, and because I just left it. And I don't know. It's like I couldn't even get rid of the Strider UPC for $30. And I know it's not in great condition, but here's the thing.
I would buy it for $30 if I needed it.
All you need is the MFing case with the UPC on it. Like, yeah, the insert's not in good condition. Buy one from Europe for $10 and put the insert in it. And I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. So
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's crazy. So you still haven't sold that?
No. I've relisted it for more. I just keep going, well, someone's going to want the thing.
It's all it takes is one person. Just let it sit for a while.
But yeah.
But by the way, speaking of eBay prices, and I promise all of our listeners out there that we're not going to talk about eBay the whole entire time. But speaking of Sega Master System re-releases, we've talked about that extensively on the show, and they're pretty rare. Some more than others, and they're always really exciting to find. So I'm always looking on eBay, and somebody lists like 4 re-releases. There's like Choplifter, Black Belt, Enduro Racer without the manual, of course, which doesn't help me. And I can't remember what the other one is. So anyway, so remember this, like last week, I'm like, I watch them all, of course, because I'm like, shit, if I can snipe them for like $10 or less, because most of the thing, like Choplifter, you can't really tell it's a re-release. Like Black Belt, you can't really tell it's a re-release, unless you know what you're looking for. So, and that's what it mostly goes for. I'll like snipe any re-release for like a couple bucks or something like that if people don't know what it is. So anyway, I'm watching these things, and a couple days later, I send Mike like a text, and I'm like, oh my God, look at this. Choplifter was up to $180. And I was like, Choplifter? I got my Choplifter for like $10. What did you get yours for?
I had to buy 2 of them, but it ended up coming to like
$35
total or something like that.
I got one for $10 and I got one for $8. So like I ended up spending like $18 to get my 2 that I combined into one. And I mean, I still have like an extra manual and like an extra box and all that stuff. So it's like, whatever. But anyways, this was up to $180. I was like, are you kidding me? It's not that rare. So, a couple days later, it was up to $212, I think, or $215 or something like that, plus shipping. So I'm like, screw it, man. I was like, I don't want to go backwards in my Sega Master System collection. But I was like, there's 2 people like furiously bidding for this thing, and one of them is not going to get the game. So what did I do? Try to take advantage of the opportunity and throw my Choplifter up there for $210. Because you know what? It's not for sale, but everything still has a price, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the dudes that was bidding it up like contacted me, and we had kind of had this long chat or something. He's like, yeah, I think I'll probably just buy yours and blah, blah, blah. So he doesn't win the Choplifter that's up there. And I'm like, screw it. I just yanked mine from eBay. So I'm like, I don't know. It was worth the try, but ultimately, I don't want the price of those things to go up sky high and then me have to find another one, But anyway, so yeah, I'm still where I was. I was really tempted by it, but I didn't want to do it. So that's me trying to take advantage of people on eBay, I guess. But yeah, man. So completely aside from eBay, though, I've got like a lot of stuff that's happened since I guess a lot of stuff that's happened since our last podcast. So if you don't mind, can I just go off?
Go for it.
All right, cool. So, I always say I'm not really in the market for anything right now. I've been talking about pinball like crazy for the last couple months or something like that. Because ever since Southern Fried Game Room Expo, I've been like obsessed. And, I'm the same way you are, Mike. I'm like, if I'm into something, I'm like all into something, Like you're the same way. You just bought like 18 pairs of headphones, right?
I did. I now only have like 2 pairs I use, though, so I got rid of the rest of them.
Okay, but you went in hard. You're like, I got like a $300 pair. Now I got a $400 pair. Now I have like $1,000 pair. Right
now I have a $500 amp. And now I just bought tubes. I want to. By the way, I just have to do it. TheTubeStore.com
sucks.
Fuck them. And I think your friend also had it. Anyway, got that off my chest. Don't buy from TheTubeStore.com. They sell you busted ass tubes. All right, continue.
Consistently, yeah. So anyway, I would say in my arcade, in my home arcade, I had like 19 games, let's say, after the expo. And after the expo,
I'm sorry, it's the Tube Depot. The Tube Store rocks.
So wait. Say that again?
The Tube Store is actually good. It's the Tube Depot that sucks the D.
Okay.
Got that all the way.
Actually, that is important that you
clarify. I want to make sure to clarify that. And I'll probably edit it anyway. But anyway.
Probably not.
Sorry.
But so anyway, at the end of the Southern Fried Game Room Expo, I'm like, I need more pinballs. Because at the time, I've had pinballs over the years. And the only one that I have, I've got like the Baby Pac-Man, which is half pinball, half arcade. And then the Flash Gordon pinball. So I'm like, I need more pinballs, right? So then I acquire a Whirlwind, which is awesome. I love that game. And then I acquire a Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is awesome. I love that game. And now some a-hole, and I say that in loving jest, decided on the Gapus, which is a pinball like email thing that just goes out to all like Atlanta and the surrounding areas, puts up an Earthshaker, which is the kind of the twin, not the twin, but the natural disaster twin to Whirlwind, up for like $1,000, fully working. So I'm like, okay, I have to think about this for a second. And then 1 second went by and I was like, I have to call this guy. So I called the guy and he just needed money and stuff. I was like, look, dude, if you deliver it, I will totally take it, So anyway, sight unseen, dude drives all the way from Athens, Georgia, which is like an hour and a half away. Drops it off at my house. I give him the money. I mean, it's awesome. I love the game. I have to tell you, though, it was disgusting. I don't know how a pinball machine gets this freaking disgusting. Like, I probably removed at least a pound or two of just crud from this thing. It was freaking gross, but it looks a lot better than when it came through my door. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And then on top of that, so I'm still waiting on my Ghostbusters and all that stuff, and I can actually probably make a move on that. So this is the coolest thing in the world. My buddy Kyle calls me the other day and is like, there is a TV show that, or like, first of all, like, do you have anything pre-1984 in your arcade? And I'm like, yeah, I have like, 3 games probably. And he's like, okay, well, what do you want from them? I'm like, no, they're not really for sale. Like, what are we talking about here, though? He's like, I don't know, just come up with a crazy price. And I was like, I like the sound of this, So, I came up with some crazy prices. My Baby Pac-Man, which I had fully restored from nothing. Burger Time, and my Flash Gordon pinball, which is becoming expendable at this point. I gave some crazy prices out there, and I was like, okay, we'll throw them at them. If they don't like it, then I don't care. I'll keep them. So anyway, it turns out, have you ever seen Stranger Things? Is it Stranger Things on Netflix?
No, I have not.
It's pretty cool. I saw it right when it had come out. I mean, like, it was just kind of something where I was like, I was just looking for something to watch, but totally 80s themed. Winona Ryder, I think, and I have no idea who anyone. It was kind of low budget that first season, but it was really cool. And some people are like, it changed my life. I've been waiting for this my entire life. I don't know if it's that good, but it's really good, I thought. I mean, I think it's rated like 4 or 5 stars on Netflix. I would totally recommend it. But anyway, Stranger Things. And I keep feeling like I'm saying that wrong for some reason, but no, I'm not. But anyway, season 2, they're actually building a set for like a permanent arcade for it, and they want like 7 to 10 machines in there apparently. And I would think it would be super freaking awesome if like 3 of my machines were in that. That would make it even cooler. They would have like 3 of my machines, especially one of my like tedious restorations, which is my baby pack, might actually be in that arcade. So last I heard, they submitted them from approval from the production company or something like that, and that might be a go. And that would be friggin' awesome. That was kind of like totally random, but I'll tell you what, man, how cool would that be if in season 2 of Stranger Things they had an arcade and like half of it were games that I previously owned.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, and restored.
Yeah, I kind of restored the Burger Time. Like the Burger Time, I never re-stenciled it, and that was one thing I was going to do this summer. But like having a kid, I just don't have that kind of time anymore. But new control panel overlay, new glass bezel, marquee, all that stuff, and fully 100% working burn-free monitor and all that stuff. So it's cool. And I have to make a note too that on the actual bezel, there was a mistake that they did when reproing it that no one would ever see, but I think it's actually kind of funny. Instead of saying Peter Pepper, it says Peter Peeper. So they total typo on that, which was dumb, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of my like big news. I'm like, I hope that goes through, because you know what happens when that goes through? I'll have an even bigger stack of cash, which would be freaking awesome. And I'm still thinking pinball right now. I have pinball on the brain, dude. Like I'm seriously, I need to like maybe get some help if this stuff keeps going like this. But do you remember playing the T2 pinball machine?
I remember playing it on your virtual pinball.
Oh, okay. Was that it? All right.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played it otherwise.
It was Pocket Change used to have it. There are few pinballs that I remember from back in the day that I was just kind of in awe, and I was like super obsessed with Terminator 2 back in the day, and that was one that I think I've always wanted. I mean, that was up there when I got my Pinbot, like that, which was my first pinball machine ages ago. This was a close second. So anyway, somebody's got a T2 that I think I'm going to pick up regardless. Whether they buy the other machines or not. But if they buy the other machines, I can get a T2 and a Ghostbusters. And now the Ghostbusters, of course, are in stock or will be in stock in the next week or so. So by the next time we do a podcast, my arcade might have grown. Now, the cool thing about this entire thing and this entire quest of mine is that I'm not really, none of this money's coming out of my pocket, like I'm kind of like selling high on everything right now, which is awesome. Like apparently not only pinballs are skyrocketing right now, but arcades too. And I'm kind of deciding what goes by like how much dust is built up on them, So, so far I've gotten rid of Mad Planets. I got rid of Tron. I got rid of Missile Command. And that's it so far. So I might end up getting rid of the Baby Pac-Man, Burger Time, and Flash Gordon as well. But in return, I will have received a Roller Coaster Tycoon, Whirlwind, Earthshaker, Ghostbusters, and T2. And I don't even know how that happened, to be honest. I don't even know how that's possible. Because the cool thing about this, restoring stuff, it's like buy low, sell high. A lot of these restorations and stuff like that, I probably have like $3,000 in my entire collection, and it's just, I don't know. It just boggles my mind here. I'm going to use that word. It's just insane to me that like all this stuff that I'm just getting rid of that I totally don't and won't miss in the future is like yielding so much freaking money that I can just dump right back into pinballs and stuff like that. So I'm kind of stoked. I was trying to downsize my collection because I got so much crap. But like I went from like 19, and if the Ghostbusters and T2 thing happens, I'll have 17 machines. So in that case, I will have downsized by 2, which kind of isn't what I had in mind at first. But the thing about my arcade, and this is the thing that should be about like everybody's arcade, right? Is that you want stuff that you will play and that people will play. And I kind of want to get to that point that everything in my arcade is something that I play, I don't want anything to gather dust unless I just forget to dust it or something. I always want to be playing all my stuff. And the newer stuff I have, that's what I'm doing. And when something gets old, I'll just trade it out for something new, So I kind of like that outlook on it. And, arcades, I've been there, done that. I've been bit by the pinball bug again, and that's kind of where I want to go. And I'm excited. I'm going to have a kick-ass pinball collection here. I think I already kind of do, and I think I'll have an even more kick-ass pinball collection in the near future here. So, I don't know. I'm going to try to edit myself here and not talk about this, ramble on about this the entire time, but I will, of course, have an update one way or another. I mean, it might not happen, but then again, it might happen. They need games, so that would be super cool if even one of them ended up in the arcade on that show. I think that'd be freaking sweet. So anyway, again, trying to edit myself here. That's all I'm going to say about that particular thing. I'm going to throw it back to you, Mike.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's one of those things where like how many arcades are you sitting at now?
17. Well, no, wait. How many do I have? All right. My entire collection is this. I've got Roller Coaster Tycoon Pinball, Whirlwind, Earthshaker, Flash Gordon. I've still got my Baby Pac-Man. I've got a Candy Cab. I've got Tempest. I've got Burger Time and Outrun and a Pac-Man re-stenciled repro cabinet. I've got a Miss Pac-Man in the garage. I've got a Twin Win Pinball. And I've got 5 Daytona USA. So I wasn't even counting.
Oh, so you might get rid of 4 and then retain 2. Or get 2 new ones with the Ghostbusters and the T2.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll have knocked my collection down to 17. Which is still way too high. But, right, I mean, I'm playing them. I'm playing them all. So I'm back to playing Daytona in the garage every night. So I'm enjoying that. So anyway.
Cool. I only want to hit on this No Man's Sky thing briefly because...
briefly?
Well, there's nothing really to say about it. I mean, it's been a joke the entire way, but Sony came out... So, a few weeks back, when this No Man's Sky stuff started to bubble up, I'd kind of put it out on Twitter, and, you know, people here and there had kind of came at me from both sides of the fence as far as whether they liked the game or didn't like the game. And the perspective I was coming from wasn't whether you liked No Man's Sky or didn't like No Man's Sky. The truth is, they advertised a product that they didn't sell, and they continue to have the bullshit E3 trailer up on the Steam, and that's not the game. And at that time, I had said, you know, Hello Games, rather than putting their compulsive liar of a game producer as their PR person, I said it would have been a smart play to at least hire some PR consulting, you know, for what, $60,000 maybe for the hours that they would have needed for PR, like literally someone to manage your Twitter account and go on stage for you at E3 and Sony events. But they didn't. Instead, Sean Murray, I think the producer or one of the primary guys at Hello Games, decided he wanted to go on Late Night with Seth Meyers. He wanted to go on stage at E3. He wanted to be the one running the Twitter account. It backfired on him because he didn't know how to do that. And so last week, Shuhei Yoshida from Sony came out and said, I understand some of the criticisms, especially Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him. And in the end, he is an indie developer. But he says their plan is to continue to develop No Man's Sky, features and such, and I'm looking forward to continuing to play the game. No shit. You know, and the other part of this is the fact that when Sony announced kind of their partnership or their publishing partnership with No Man's Sky, like 3 years ago, Sony came out and said, we're treating this as a first-party title. So Sony doesn't get off scot-free here. But, you have Sony publishing the disc version of the game. I just wish I could have been a fly on the wall for those conversations because, you know, it wouldn't have cost Sony anything to be like, hey, do you want a PR person to front this thing? And he's probably,
exactly.
and I imagine him being like, no, it's my game. It's our baby. It's going to be so great. Like,
he's like a megalomaniac or something like that.
Like, nah, dog, you're a compulsive liar. You shouldn't have been out there, whatever.
So what are people saying about it now that the newness is worn off of?
Well, no one's playing it anymore, so no one really cares.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no one's playing it anymore. Game's garbage.
Is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, technically speaking, like, whether you enjoy the game or not, go ahead and enjoy the game. But at the end of the day, it deserves every bit of criticism that it's gotten, and it's not just hype. I mean, there's been plenty of videos and plenty of white papers about what Sean Murray promised and what we didn't get. And if you purchased the game expecting something else and still ended up enjoying the game, fine. But nobody bought that game thinking it was going to be a space farming simulator.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, fine. And I'm going to do a quick spoiler alert, and I'm just going to spoil the game because the point of the game is to get to the center of the Earth. Everybody knows that. So I'm going to spoil what happens when you get to the center of the Earth. So here's what happens. If you don't want to hear this and you haven't looked on the internet, turn it off. And turn it off for like 30 seconds while Mitch and I laugh about this. You get to the center of the Earth, and it just fades to black.
That's it.
Like, yeah, and there's some credits and some other bullshit, and then they put you back on a planet.
You, like, start over or something?
Yeah, they're like, all right, here you're back on a planet. Now go explore more stuff.
Oh, man.
Like, oh, great. Yeah, that's super. Wait, great idea. Yeah, awesome.
Wow, dude. Talk about being pissed off about an experience. So you think these guys are pretty much done, like, in the gaming industry? Do you think it's that bad? Do you think it's like that epic of a failure that, like, they're done?
Yeah, I do. Because here's the thing: they haven't said anything since August 1, I believe, or September 1, August 1, I actually think. I don't remember when it actually came out, but at the end of the day, they haven't said anything. And they're going to still release updates for the game, as Shuhei Yoshida has said. But at the end of the day, if they come out with another game and say, hey, we're making another game, this is what it is, people are going to be like, okay, sure it is. There's going to be no Kickstarters. There's going to be no Sony coming to get you back. There's going to be none of that. Right?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That would be, you pretty much ruin those opportunities now with your actual delivery.
So yeah, essentially they missed their window, and like I guess I would have just expected them to apologize and maybe give a little bit transparency into why things were cut and didn't make it, and go from there. It kind of seems like it would have been the smarter play, but they didn't do that, and so whatever. But I didn't buy what they were putting out essentially anyway. I mean, it is what it is. They're just sitting there saying, like, at some point you look at the product and you say, I don't believe you anymore. Right? Even like, yeah, so it is what it is. Like, I ain't buying what you're selling anymore, people. So,
well, yeah, and I remember when we first started talking about it, you had sent me like a link of some picture. Or I had looked up some pictures or something while we were on the podcast, and I was like, damn, that actually does look awesome. And I'm glad I didn't sink any money into it too. Yeah, well, that kind of stinks, but whatever. I mean, that crap like that happens all the time. It's like, whatever. So anyway, speaking of the kind of newer games and stuff like that, why? So you're back on the Destiny bandwagon, huh?
Yeah.
Not on the bandwagon. That's maybe improperly putting it. But what resparked that whole thing? I thought you pretty much
new DLC,
were done with it.
New DLC came out. And that's pretty good. Other than some random platforming stuff, but I mean, Destiny's Destiny. And Sweet. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of just comfort food at this point.
Same with Forza 3? Or Forza Horizon 3, sorry.
Yeah, same thing. Horizon 3 is good. I mean, it's Forza Horizon 2, but better. I don't know. I've only put about an hour and a half, 2 hours into that one. I haven't got it on the racing seat yet, so... yeah, I mean, they're solid games. If you like Destiny and you like racing, go out and get Rise of Iron and go out and get Forza Horizon 3. Kind of the same stuff it's always been. I don't know really kind of the details to hit on it. The Destiny stuff would be in the weeds, and the Forza thing is like, hey, just grab a car and go.
I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about. I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about as far as the Destiny stuff goes anyways. But one thing, since I'm pinball obsessed, obviously, which we've so you've been playing the Microsoft Pinball Arcade, right, on PS4?
Yeah, it's not Microsoft.
Or which one? It's the Williams.
Yeah, it's Pinball Arcade. Yeah, so I bought.
It used to be There used to be a Microsoft Pinball Arcade.
No, this is just something else. I actually don't know who the publisher was, but yeah, I grabbed High Speed and then Bride of Pinbot, and then that also came with Medieval Madness. I played a couple hours of it. The tables are really good. I didn't know the difference. They charge you more for the pro table. It's like, okay, I guess I want the pro tables. I don't know what that actually does for me because they don't tell you. So I got the pro tables. But yeah, I mean, they play legit. It's it looks nice. There's multiple views. Like if you like pinballs, it's kind of the way to go.
Yeah, because I tried. Like I said, I was gonna download that on my Vita as well, but I looked at some videos of like the PS4, and I've looked at some videos of the Vita and stuff like that. I'm like, man, the Vita version doesn't look that fantastic. I don't know if I'd totally be into that, but the PS4 version looks freaking awesome. Specifically, I'm still playing I gotta be honest, I'm still playing the crap out of my 3DS. If I'm too lazy to go down in the basement and actually play real pinball machines, like I'm totally happy just playing my 3DS, like playing some on the Williams collection or whatever on that. It's so good with the 3D. And it's one of those things where it's like they allow you to flip the thing over so that the back glass is on the how does that? Yeah, so the back glass is on the non-3D part, and then the table is on the 3D part or whatever. Because otherwise, the back glass is on the bottom. So I thought that was really dumb at first until I realized what it was, and then I thought that was super cool. So
that's kind of neat. Yeah,
I don't know,
because it's foldable, so it's kind of like, oh, you kind of fold it. And you're like, hey, look at the back glasses there. This is like a pinball.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, and plus the it's a lot less wonky. The 3D is a lot less wonky if you just actually do it that way. So if you're actually looking down on it as opposed to looking up. So for me, at least. So anyway. Gosh, it's funny.
It's just addicting. I mean, it's just like pinball in general. Like, if it plays right, as far as video game pinball goes, if it plays right, you lose time quick. You're like, I'm just gonna play a few balls, and then you're like, F that last ball up. All right, starting over. What was my high score? Right? It's kind of like the ultimate kind of couch co-op game, really. You're like, pass the controller back and forth. Like, it's a lot of fun.
I wasted so much time on that, dude. And it's one of those things, I swear, like when I was a kid, I was totally all about the arcades, right? Like me and you both. Like it was like, I played some pinball and there were some that I really liked, like back in the day. Like it all depended. And I've talked about this before too. You went on a lot of camping trips with us. Every weekend it seemed like we'd go freaking camping in the summer or like, in the non-winter. And, I hated it. I hated camping. What did you think about camping?
Yeah, I don't know. It was I don't know. Yeah, it was something to do. I guess I didn't mind it, to be honest.
Well, you didn't mind it because you didn't have to go.
But I never had to go all the time. So when I got to go, I was like, I'm gonna go camping.
Right. Exactly. And so I had to go every week or every weekend. It seemed like, and I'm like, just like, damn, seriously, I sound like a spoiled brat or something right now, but it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I just want to stay home and play video games. And that was my thought process. I want to stay home and play video games. I don't want to go camping. And of course, I didn't have a choice. So the one consolation to that was that every campground had a game room, obviously. And some were more impressive.
I always had a game room.
That was the first thing I did every single campground that we ever went to. And this is one of those things where I'm like, now I think I'm like, definitely our entire lives as gamers, we keeps it real. We're totally gamers through and through, right? Part of me now as an adult thinks, God, I wish I would have like gone swimming in a lake or something or done something else nice. and, you know, done something else that was, you know, maybe outdoorsy or something like that. But I don't regret checking out all the game rooms. So in some of the game rooms, I remember one in particular, there was a KOA in Owatonna, Minnesota that had a Pinbot, and they also had a Comet. So that was kind of where I really enjoyed those. And I swear, half the time I got like, what was your allowance when you were a kid?
It depends at what point. At one point, it was like $1 a day. It's like $30 a month, maybe. That was like before I got to do anything. Like, I don't remember. What was your allowance? I don't remember. I don't really remember. I had to be honest. Like, I had like a crappy allowance for a while, or like anytime I did the dishes, I got like something. But like, I don't really remember like ever, like actually getting like an actual allowance for an extended period of time.
You were an only child, so you just like give me money, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that. I didn't like get a ton of stuff. It was just more like, hey, get good grades, and then you can get da 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 da. Like, it was never like, there was never like a spending money thing there. I know I got like money for doing dishes and household chores. I just don't remember how much. It wasn't enough to really do anything with it. It probably wasn't even $30 a month. I have no idea. It was low. Like, well, like here's money.
I feel like a baller when I was a kid, though. I think mine was like $10 a week.
Yeah, I think mine was $7.
$7 a week?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, the only reason I asked that too is because when we go to the game rooms, I'd have like my $10 for that weekend, and it would last like
48 seconds,
10 minutes. Yeah, it was like maybe 10 minutes tops, to be honest, to be real about it. But so I'm like out of quarters, and my allowance is spent immediately because I guess I'm just terrible. Or I played a lot of the, quarter eating games, and so I would sit around a lot. And I feel like a complete loser admitting this, but how many of you out there did the exact same thing, where I would just sit there and watch the attract mode of everything in the arcade, and I would just put my hands on the controls and pretend like I was playing it, or I would like stick my fingers in the little like change return thing or whatever, looking for like quarters. I don't know if that ever worked even, but I thought that was so, like, I didn't care, like me and you, the thing about us, again, we keeps it real as gamers. I don't mind watching you game. You don't mind watching me game. That's just the way it is sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just chill out, watch each other game. That's all good, man. So like for me, it was still, it's not like I was like, oh my God, I'm so bored. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, one of the things about Pinbot that really drew me to it was the attract mode. It was so cool, and like all the lights and everything. I vividly remember that in this particular arcade as well. But like, that stuff shaped my life, as an adult that can, buy video games now, like arcade machines and pinball machines, unlike I was when I was a kid. Those things helped shape my decisions nowadays, but I think what I was originally saying was I was more of like an arcade, all my quarters, because I didn't know how to play pinball when I was a kid. And it was a matter of like, I have $10 and pinballs are like,
that's got to stretch.
And pinballs are like 50 cents. And like, I can't even last 30 seconds. I can't afford.
We're talking about pinball still, right?
Yeah, we're talking about pinball. Okay. I'm like, I can't afford to like become good at pinball right now. I'm like 6 or 10 or however old I was, So, but now I'm kind of making up for that now. But I think a lot of my decisions have been based on that type of thing. That's why I have such a thing for Pinbot. I know it's not like there aren't that many people out there that are like, Pinbot is so great, blah, blah, blah. It just depends on like your experiences and all that stuff. Like, it's all subjective as far as that goes. But I think that's funny. Like, I guess now that I'm kind of talking it out here, that's exactly my childhood and then we play some mini golf too. That was fun. But other than that, it's like game rooms and arcades. I just sit there and watch the attract mode all day instead of going outside and like getting fresh air or like going on a trail or like swimming or something. And you know what? God damn it. I would do the exact same thing again.
Oh yeah.
If I had the
easier,
opportunity, if I had the opportunity right now, that's exactly what I'd do. I don't want to go outside and do stupid things outside. I want to just play video games.
Yeah,
That keeps it real.
Outside is overrated. You get used to not being outside too when you grow up in, the Midwest or Minnesota specifically, and like them people that want to go outside in the winter, we call those crazy people.
Yeah, those people are crazy, man. I guess we both had snowmobiles when we were little, and that used to be a thing. But I always
that's different.
It is different.
It
but
is
I gotta
like
be honest,
you got a helmet on. You're on a snowmobile. That shit was fun because we didn't have licenses at the time. Like in southern Minnesota, we could just drive out of our yard, and you were like had hand warmers and all that stuff. But I'm talking like the rest of that. I'm not going outside.
Well, yeah. No, that was fun too because we lived about 10 miles away from each other for most of our childhood. And we could just drive a snowmobile over to their house. It was the greatest thing. We didn't have a license, so just snowmobile over there.
14 years old, just hop on the old snowmobile and jump in the ditches.
But I'll tell you this. I keeps it real. And I was thinking about gaming the entire time I was snowmobiling on how I was totally going to game so hard when I got home. So... I guess I'm figuring out that my life is like my entire life was either A, totally awesome, or B, totally pathetic. So you be the judge.
I think it can be both at the same time.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I mean, it was pretty cool, but what opportunity cost? At what opportunity cost? Like, could have I? No, it was pretty awesome. Never mind.
It was awesome. I went through a phase of my life where I was like, I like being outdoors and stuff. I think when I lived in Florida, but now I'm like, I would like it, but it just seems like too much work.
Yeah, I don't know. Being
outside is hard. So anyway, we showed how big of losers apparently we were our entire life. How super awesome we were, I guess, or both.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, I have no idea how I went off on that tangent. I didn't even know why anybody would want to listen to that. But if you have listened, thank you for caring. And, we want to hear, I would love to hear your story too. I'll tell you what, Mike, if anybody's still listening, if you're still listening at this point, you have to do us a favor and call our caller voicemail and let us know your favorite things to do when you were a kid. Mike, what's the info?
It's 678-995-5103. Otherwise, send us stories at questions at RetroGameFix.com. Otherwise, YouTube.com, Twitter.com, Facebook.com/RetroGameFix.
Woo! Well, with that,
that's all of it.
I don't really have anything else to talk about this week, Mike.
I have one last thing. So I hit eBay real quick. I went off on Vita collecting and how it's kind of turned into a joke, and essentially, so that limited run games, they sell their games at $25, and then people buy them and immediately flip them on eBay. Retro City Rampage was one of them. One that I just got on PS4 that people started flipping right away. I'm not even gonna get into my opinions on it, other than the fact that the full collection of the limited run games that have been released are now listed on eBay right now for $900 for the lot. Now, is it going to sell? I don't know. But it's like, come on, man. Like, just whatever. It's like
straight cash.
I don't know. I just, so that in a nutshell is why there are games on Vita that I bought that I didn't plan on playing because I like collecting Vita games. Not at that cost. And so that's kind of when I went, you know what, I'm going to reallocate. That's when I kind of had that moment of, I'm going to reallocate my funds to things that A, I'll actually play, and B, that aren't just full of like hey, I can make an extra $20, right? And it just bothers me. So yeah, $900 for a lot of 13 games or something.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right, and it's like just because they drop limited versions and then it hits scalpers. Same reason I got just so mad at Amiibos. Like, I want to collect your stuff, Nintendo. You're not letting me do that. And so, like, I can see a rare one here and there, but yeah, so that kind of sums up Vita collecting for me as well. I saw it pop up. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's like, screw eBay and screw people that have, I don't know, that just irritates me. It just bothers me that, like, I don't know why it bothers me so much. It's like, it is what it is. Like, they're more than in their right to do it. And, like, I can't always be online to buy the games when they come out. Like, shame on me, but I don't know. $900. Like, come on now. They're Vita games. Like,
yeah,
you get a case and a flash card.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. That's all I got.
Indeed. Yep. Well, with that, that's all I got, too. I'm excited about this week, though, because I have a feeling I'm going to have a Terminator 2 by the end of this week, at least, and maybe even a Ghostbusters. So we'll see how things go. I think I'll at least have a Terminator 2, though. So anyway, I'm kind of stoked about that prospect because I've been waiting for this for years and years and years. And now is the time, I believe. So anyway, I don't have anything else for this week.
The Terminator 2 has the gun, like the gun is the thing, right?
The plunger. The plunger.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. It's awesome. So anyway, for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast, episode number 90, this is Mitch.
This is Mike.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.